Mike O'Mara, Radio Entertainment.
We're coming up on re-election day.
If you were president, what would be the first thing you would do?
Open up the borders to everyone, actually, instead of building a Great Wall.
I would change all of the laws and get a lot of people out of jail who should not be in jail right now, and just change the whole political reform system that we have, which is currently corrupt.
I'd probably just run laps around the White House, just what? That'd be fun.
The first thing, the very first thing, right after I'm sworn in, I'm gonna go into the Oval Office for the first time. Okay, I'm gonna find out all this secret shit, right away, and we're just gonna I don't know, I'm gonna go from there.
I would decorate for the nearest holiday.
I would probably go back to my old middle school and just get out of the presidential limousine, just middle fingers out at all my old teachers. Look what I did, motherfuckers. Look at it. Drop an invisible mic. There we go.
Legalize weed.
Which presidential candidate would you want to grab a beer with?
Hillary Clinton. First of all, I definitely think she could throw him back. Also, loosen her up a little bit. Maybe she'd start spewing out some things that she wouldn't say on the trail,
Oh, definitely Bernie Sanders, because I think he has a few beers before every speech.
If you were at a bar, which presidential candidate would be the biggest lightweight?
The guy who's a neurosurgeon.
Ben Carson.
Yeah, he just looks like it. Just looks a little soft.
Probably Bernie Sanders, because he's old, he's crazy, and I feel like an old crazy guy drunk would be very, very intoxicated.
Maybe Marco Rubio. I wonder what he's like drunk. I don't know. I feel like he's got a lightweight face, and he's all about family, so he probably doesn't drink a lot.
Definitely Rand Paul. He looks real scrawny. I feel like I would totally drink him under the table.
Probably Bernie Sanders. He seems rather old and small. He must weigh, no more than a crisp piece of paper that's been yellowing in the sunlight and just kind of floating around in the breeze.
If you were to make a football team with the current presidential candidates, who would you put on your team and why?
I would definitely say that I would want Hillary as, a quarterback, just because I feel like she gets stuff done. Yeah. And I would say Bernie definitely as, the coach, but, following through, he's kind of old. We don't want him to get crushed by everybody else. I don't really know much about sports, but I just don't like the mean people. My team represents good people who like to do good for others. Definitely don't want any people, taking steroids. I feel like Donald Trump would do that.
Donald Trump would be my star player, because I would love to see his wig and his fake-looking hair come off.
So which presidential candidate seems the most hygienic?
Probably Chris Christie, because, after eating hoagies, you have to use wet wipes, to clean up all the mess. It's essentially a shower.
That other lady, Carly Fiorina.
She seems the most hygienic?
She does seem the most hygienic. She seems like she showers at least twice a day.
What about the least hygienic?
I think Donald Trump. He just kind of looks like a Cheeto. Just looks like if you accidentally brushed up against him, you might have some particles on you.
They all look hygienic to me, to be honest. But again, I think Bernie probably isn't that hygienic because he's a little older. So it's just a little harder to clean yourself sometimes. Or, maybe he has some hair in his ear and needs to pluck them out. I don't know.
Least hygienic, definitely Chris Christie. Mostly because I feel like he would just smell like an obese man. I'm sorry, but he just emanate a certain smell. Most hygienic, Jeb Bush. He seems like he'd be very, metaphorically squeaky clean, but also physically squeaky clean.
Kasich is definitely the least sanitary, is that the word? Yeah. Because he's actually come to my hometown and was in our parade and was dripping sweat and shook my hand and dripped sweat onto my hand, so he is not clean. And Ben Carson is probably the cleanest because he's a surgeon and you have to scrub in.
If you had 30 seconds to tell Donald Trump something, what would you tell him?
I'd probably just give him a hug.
I'd probably tell him, change up the hair because it's not really doing it. It's kind of like a tumbleweed on his head. I think that's the most important issue I have with Trump. It's just the hair that's personally offensive and ruining my life.
Which presidential candidate would you swipe right on Tinder for?
Marco Rubio. He's just Latin.
Joe Biden. Because Leslie Knope from Parks and Recreation is in love with Joe Biden, and he's got a little something.
Bernie Sanders.
What about him is so appealing?
He's a dad.
Martin O'Malley.
And why? He's pretty good looking. I mean, he's got the silver. He's like a silver fox look going on. Out of all the current presidential candidates, who would you who would you marry, and who would you kill?
Who's that Democrat that everyone's been like posting all the like really hot?
Martin O'Malley.
Yeah, he's hot. I'd bone him. Marry Bernie because I feel like he'd take care of me, and like that voice at night would kind of be really cute to fall asleep to. And then kill, I don't know, I guess we'd have to go with Trump. I mean, it's kind of the obvious.
First off, I'd probably kill Donald Trump just because my feet would never touch the ground again because everyone would be carrying me from place to place cheering me on. I don't think I would marry the two female candidates. Probably marry Bernie Sanders. He seems like he would be alright with that. For Chris Christie.
Same. No question would marry Hillary Clinton. Clearly she's a loyal hoe. I would love to make love with Bernie Sanders. With his age and his liberal tendencies, I feel like he is just a monster.
I would marry Ted Cruz, and I guess I'm f***ing Trump. That's how it's gonna go.
Reason why?
Yeah, he's gonna f*** us all. He's gonna f*** Mexico, so we can f*** him.
How do you think Hillary Clinton's past job as the host of Divorce Court will help her if she's elected for the nomination?
I think that her knowledge of the adversarial system would really help in unblocking the gridlock between Republicans and Democrats in the Congress, House, and Senate.
I think she has a strong hand of justice, and as we all know, divorce is the leading cause of bipartisan dilemma in this country, so I think it's really important for us to remember that.
Were you surprised when Chris Christie was eating during the most recent debate?
I didn't watch it. I should have watched it, but then I didn't. But it doesn't surprise me now that I know that.
If he was eating just a snack, just a granola bar, then I understand that. Some people have bad, like, sugar problems, but if he was eating, like, a full meal, then that's just rude.
Eating is a basic human instinct of survival. Some people can go without it, other people can't. No comment.
I think people need to get over the fact that he was snacking because everybody needs some snacks here and there, especially at a debate so fierce where you have to stand up for yourself. You definitely need to refuel by snacking.
What was he eating? Like a full sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not okay. It's funny. I mean, are there rules anywhere? Probably not. They're probably not, like, no sandwiches. But I mean, it's like kind of unprofessional.